How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the top submitted workshop skins for this week. And if you're new and wondering how this all works, none of these skins are available as of this video. They just have the potential to be. 8 to 10 are chosen every week by the game's creator and lead, Dev Helk. And then we move on to the next week of 100 or so submitted skins. Every week it continues on and on. So yeah, that's how that goes. Now, up next, we do have the Lunar New Year skins. Helk has told me he's looking for them for next week. So that is a little bit short notice. So if you are a skinner and this is the first time you're hearing about it, the due date would have been yesterday. But because of the short notice, it's going to be the 20th, since the skins are going to be put into the store on the 23rd. So yeah, there's that. There's more info in my Discord if you need some details. Let's jump into my personal top 10 with the Heavy Knight road sign armor. So the Heavy Knight set has been very popular, and we have the upcoming primitive update, which will actually be introducing its own knight primitive armor. So hey, it might be a good time to get in the Heavy Knight set before we get the skin for road sign. So as we see it here, you can see it's version 3, and it's pretty much everything you would expect from it. It's just a road sign adapted very nicely into an old, rusty, kind of more classic set of medieval armor kind of design. Next up, we have 2 packs for you. The first one is going to be the Cyber Pack. As you can see, it has that same kind of like tread thing going on for the straps. And then if we come all the way around back here, you can see it's got that kind of like blocky look and design to it, with some kind of worn leather in between, as you can see here. It's a very kind of clean looking pack. It is a bit shiny, but it's not completely chromed out to where you're going to, glow in the sun, so to say. Our next backpack is definitely not going to help you hide anywhere, though. It is the Rainbow Pony backpack. And yep, that's right, Rainbow Pony. This Rainbow Pony. And, well, I mean, this set sells like hotcakes. And it's just one of those things that makes sense. So, hey, I mean, if this backpack made it in, I think it would sell just a ton for the fact of the memes. Moving to our deployables, we have the Frozen Crypt Fridge, and as you can see, it's a great continuation of the set. It has icy chains and icy stalactites, and then just this crazy icy gaping mouth and skull with the gem. Of course it glows, and then you can see the gem kind of makes this swirl pattern up here. This is a really altogether cool design, very badass looking fridge. I also like the kind of effect of the depth for the mouth using the inside of the fridge space, which I think is well done. And then over here we have a piece of art for you with the Hazmat 1503 rug. Just absolutely love this little design. And then over here we've got another very creative rug for you. It's a bear rug, and it's the Neanderthal Sabertooth rug. Great little addition to the Neanderthal set, and I think they've done a good job on this. It's definitely quite funny looking, and you could have an animal skeleton up on the wall. I feel like that's something we need actually in Rust. Then moving on, we've got a double door this week for you, and it's going to be the Sunken Double Door by Algorithm, and this is just really beautifully sculpted. They did such a good job having all the different octopus tentacles coming through here and there and around, and they don't look like they are completely flat, which is one of the big things that it's a little harder to get going on. The more 3D stuff you try to do on a flat surface, the weirder it can get, and they just did a really beautiful job on this, and props for including the DLC lantern torch right there. Moving on, we've got ourselves the Stratum Rocket Garage Door by Mr. 38. And this one is another one of those designs where it's just beautifully sculpted. Everything is its own layer. It isn't actually, going to be just a drawing. It's not a flat piece of art, and I think that's what really makes it pop extra. It also has a very nice glow. So if we go ahead and kill our lights here, you can see it just is a very beautiful garage door in general. Then we can come over here and see our little torch lanterns from the octopus or squid, whatever it may be. And then we can scoot all the way over to our fridge. I mean, man, this thing just really stands out beautifully. Lastly, we do have some weapons for you this week. We have this beautifully carved sap for you by Bad Trip. It's a continuation in their hunting set, and it just has this beautifully carved wood with the trees and the deer, and it's just a really nice kind of like hunting keepsake kind of design. Even down the sides, you do have black kind of gunmetal design. And there we go for the reload. Then next up, we've got this bright, deep ruby version 2 AK-47, and I just really love how this looks. We have lots of kind of shiny purple things, but at least there's like a red in here instead of more purple, and I think that kind of makes it really shine. And the whole like gemstone look is really, really cool. We don't really have a whole lot of anything in Rust that looks like this yet. We have some rocks, of course, that look like that, but I think it'd be cool to get a gun line that has this kind of design. I could see it selling well. How do you guys feel about that? But as you saw, there's a nice little red tip, which is always a bonus. But that's going to do it for my top 10, so let's go ahead and take a look at all the other amazing skins this week. Alright, starting off, we've got the Crab Shell Burlap set by Fenwick, and yeah, this just has a really, really cool design. They did a good job on sculpting this. It actually does look like there's like a carapace on here. It sticks up, it's not flat. I like the little sea stars. That one's getting a little too close to the butt there, I think. Just saying. But yeah, there's a lot of little sea stars all over them. But altogether, it's a really creative little burlap set. I'm not sure if it's too hard to tell if it's burlap. I think there's the smooth parts where you wouldn't have them. There's a missing hood, all that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty obvious it is burlap once you're up close. But yeah, it's definitely a fun, silly little crab armor. Moving on, we've got a couple ponchos for you. The hide poncho we've got here is the Guise of Horus. And of course, if you don't know, Horus is a bird god from Egyptian lore. And yeah, well, I don't want to say bird god because they're not the god of birds. They are a god that has a bird head. So thus the feathers and the gold chainmail. So that's what I was getting at right there. Our other poncho is the wolf fur poncho by Cubis, and as you can see, the whole thing looks like the updated wolf model's fur. And yeah, it definitely looks like it would keep you pretty warm. It's held together with like a little leather connections with a chain right here, which is a nice little detail. And I think a lot of people would like this just for the very rustiness it has. Next up, we have a set of road sign for you. It's the Cat Meowflage. Cat Meowflage. That makes me laugh every time. Dad jokes. Anyways, we're another. As you can see, it turns you into a ginger kitty, just like the hoodie and pants we just saw. And it's got nice little buttons here and there holding the, you know, so and say, cloth. But you can tell this, it really looks like it's kind of like sculpted and painted on. So it doesn't look like it would be something that feels furry. So I think that's kind of fun. You know, they still made it look metal. And yeah, so there it is, the Cat Meowflage set. Next, we've got a continuation with the Brainstorm set with the backpack. And as you can see, the side has all sorts of crazy kind of psychedelic colors that usually go along with it. And then you've got this kind of thing going on. Multiple eyes on the top, multiple heads and mouths, and all sorts of other stuff. Just craziness going on. Just going along with the set perfectly. Moving on to our deployables, we've got some sleeping bags. The bandage bag is up first, and it's just this kind of leathery, stitched up bag that looks like our little bandages in game. Has a really kind of nasty old pillow, just fits right into Rust. It really looks handcrafted for sure. Then if we scoot on over here, we've got the Moss Power sleeping bag. As you can see, the whole thing is just dirt and moss and leaves and so forth, and this is definitely one of those hide 'em in a bush kind of sleeping bags. Then if we move on to our small boxes, the first thing is going to be the motorcycle parts, small wooden storage. And as you can see, it's got like some rubber tread, and then it's got chicken wire and then metal stop sign pieces. It's made out of, you know, all sorts of little things that would make you think of vehicles and the motorcycles. Then if we move over here, we've got the medical box. As you can see, it has various little things on it. You can see it says med. I don't know what that says. Think that, oh, maybe, no, that does not say med. What does that say? IFO? maybe? One way or another, medical box. Then over here, we've got ourselves the Cobalt Box RTX 7090 Ti. Hey, there's an RGB and a black version. I definitely love the little idea on that. And hey, it's a fun design. And hey, this box looks like it's cooled pretty well. Then moving on, we have some eyes for you here with the Draconic Gaze large wooden box. And if we go around on the sides, you can see there's a little single eye, and you've got various kind of like, I guess it's stitched together, some kind of flesh or something. Then moving on, we've got a continuation for you with the Xbox set with the Meds box. Comes in a red or green. Then if we move to our furnaces, first up is the Dino Egg Furnace. Definitely a very cool design. This almost made my top 10. It's just really fun and creative. Did a good job with the banana leaves and how the egg kind of lights up, which we'll see better at night. Then over here we've got another really creative furnace. It is the Pancakes Furnace. It almost looks like a beehive, but if you look at it, it is a stack of syrupy pancakes turned into a furnace. Moving on, we've got a really creative bear rug for you. This one here is the Captured Mermaid Bearskin Rug, complete with little jellies on the side. Definitely a very unique and cool use of sculpting with a shape. I mean, it doesn't look anything like a bear, really. I mean, look, the shells were ears. I mean, they did a good job. Really good job on this. Then moving on over here, we've got ourselves some doors, starting off the Rustmania wooden door. You can see there's all sorts of little things going on. Of course, we've got two different sides for you. Then moving on, we have the Ent wooden door. There's the Ent. And then the Tavern, a medieval wooden door. Very fitting, especially with the upcoming update. Then moving on to our sheet metal doors, we've got ourselves the Expressions Vault, the Hard Reset, and there's two versions, one with transparency, as you can see right here, and then one without it. Then we've got the Mosaic Starry Night, Sewers sheet metal door. Then over here we have this really cool, the Neon Glitch Skullhead door. And as you can see, this one also has transparency there, here, and here. And then through the various little slits around the door, which is very cool. That might be too much transparency, I don't know. But hey, it's a really, really cool design. Then over here we have ourselves the Neon Life sheet metal door. It also comes in a kind of purpley version as well. You can see that down in the description link. I always have the workshop link there. Then we have a continuation with the Otherworldly set with its sheet metal door. Moving on to this one, we've got the Eternal Metal door, the Moa Head door, or Moai Head door, said that wrong, and then the Symbol sheet metal door. There's a really cool looking dragon. And then a continuation with the Legion set with the double door. This time I put the white version up because I keep showing you guys the red ones. If you want to see the alternate red one, again, I have the workshop link in the video description. Then moving along to our next sheet door, we've got the restricted area door. This is actually the version 2. The regular version has less kind of color. Oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. This is version 1. Version 2 has a much darker look to it if you want to take a look at that. Then on to garage doors, we have ourselves the High Voltage garage door, version 2. Oasis garage door. Campfire garage door. Really love the art on this and like the little spooky eyes hiding in the different stuff. I like this one because the little part of the bush looks like a face. It's just, I really love the details to this, and the stars continue on the roller, which means there's some glow there. Then we've got this kind of circuitry door all set up for you with the Flow version titanium, no, dark gray garage door. Sorry, titanium is the alt version that we're not seeing. Then we have our last garage door, the Steampunk 2 version 12? That can't be right. Maybe it is. I don't know. One way or another. There you go. Like the little skull hidden up there in the top too. And last but not least, we do have the epoxy armored door, and it comes in water and lava. So this is obviously the lava, as you can tell. Just kidding. It is the water one. And if we take a look at the back, you can see it kind of has like a flow of water coming in from the corners. It's kind of a cool idea. It's like looking down at a pool, kind of. So if we kill the lights, check out the glow, and here's our garage doors. As I said, glowing roller, always a plus. Another glowing roller here, and here. Always real nice. I actually like the lights on the sides of this one here. Looks quite good. That dragon does glow. Really, really cool. Then we can cruise all the way down to these. Love how the mesh makes that one look at night. This has got all sorts of little creative stuff, including, is that a rat or a cat? Something. Rat cat going on there. And that looks like eyes. Very beautiful on that. Love the industrial look going on here with this one. These neon little emotes do pop quite nice. Then we have our wooden doors here. The mermaid rug has this like ghostly glow. Pancakes only kind of has pretty much a normal furnace glow, I'd say. Then you can see the egg lights up completely. Got the Xbox boxes. The eyes. And then lastly, the little medical box. There we have it. Moving on to our tools and weapons, we have a hammer for you this week, the guidebook hammer. And yeah, how to build yourself a house, a self-build beginner's guide. And it just happens to also be a building hammer. How convenient. Then we've got ourselves some rocks for you this week, the unknown alloy rock, as you can see here. Definitely a very cool looking design. Then we've got a 2025 celebration rock with frosting and candy canes and peppermints and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, the happy new year. Moving on, we've got the chomped set for you. It's moved on to the metal tools, and as you can see, someone chomped a big old chunk out of the hatchet there. Might not be the best at chopping wood anymore, more like chipping wood, but hey, it would make a nasty melee weapon. Of course, it has a matching pickaxe, which you can see they didn't so successfully get any bites out of it. There's even some teeth still stuck in the handle of this one right up front. And, oh, well, no, actually, those are nails, and I think the teeth are only on the actual pickaxe right there. Then, if we move on, we've got ourselves a bone club. We don't see these too often, and it's called the Zombone. And yeah, man, this is just a really creative design, cool cutout, and just altogether really awesome looking. Continuing along, we have a bone knife for you as well this week, and as you can see, it is a tentacle. Definitely a very interesting design, and yeah, I could see a lot of people wanting to get this one just because it's silly and weird. Moving on, we have a sword for you. It's part of the Monarch set. It comes in two versions, the blue and red, and as you can see here, this is the red one. Definitely a good design, and everyone likes a nice sword. Moving on to our other weapons here, we've got ourselves a crossbow, and it is the Aurora set. Aiming down the sights here, you can see the Aurora painting, and there we have that. Moving along, we've got some pumpies for you this week. The first one's going to be the tank armor pump shotgun. I think this looks really good on the pumpy. Gives it a very old and rusty, nasty kind of look, which just fits perfectly in. Aiming down the sights, you do have a red sight, and there we go for our reload. Then our other pump for this week is going to be the SquareTech Pump Shotgun. And as you can see, this definitely has more of a kind of shiny design, and it just looks more techy. I mean, you know, for the name there. Aiming down the sights, you do have that tech and a bright shiny red sight to go along with it. And if we go ahead and move on, we've got ourselves a Yoka, and it's part of the Heritage set. So as you can see here, it does have what looks like kind of like holes going through it, which is kind of crazy. And then you've got a kind of fancy little barrel with the same kind of design that we saw in the SAR. Moving on, we have the reflector pistol for you. This one has modded sights as well. And yeah, it's got this kind of purple and black design. Aiming down the sights, you can see the tip is kind of purpley, but depending on how the light hits it, it almost looks silver. And then you can see that the sights are quite a bit changed there. How do you feel about that for cut python sights? Moving on, we've got quite a few saps for you this week. The first one's going to be the MK Ultra sap, and as you can see, it just kind of continues that same design as you would expect with the little MK Ultra written up front. Aiming down the sights, it does have a red tip for you. Then our next sap is going to be the Invader sap. Has that same kind of little alien scrawlings on a very kind of old and scrappy looking pistol. Aiming down the sights, you have a rusty kind of dark tip. Then moving on, we have ourselves the Speed Rage version 2 pistol, and as you can see, they've done a little bit of updates, add a little more green to it. It's been broken up with some silver parts, and then if you aim down the sights, there's a nice green tip, and there's that reload. Last for our saps this week, we've got the Hellfire sap for you. Nice continuation in the set. Those flames really pop as they are, you know, separately sculpted on there, not just painted on. And I love how when you move around, you can kind of see the different black, kind of swirly, almost Damascus steel looking pattern. Aim down the sights, you do have a orangish, yellowy red tip. Kind of like it's highlighted in yellow, which I think is quite nice. Moving on to our SMGs, we've got the Fury Tribe Custom for you. As you can see, it's all kind of a silver gunmetal, and then it has like these almost cracks, but they're actually scrawlings with the red in between. Aiming down the sights, you can see a nice little design that almost has like a face in it, and it just has a silver kind of chrome tip to the side. Next, we've got some MP5s. The first one is the Tech Samurai MP5, and this almost made my top 10 as well. It's very, very cool looking. I love the design on it. They really changed up the actual body of the MP5, and it looks really, really cool. And it just has that kind of future techie look, but yeah, the samurai part can still really be seen. Aiming down the sights, you've got this crazy cut sight, and yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Also, you can kind of still see a ring, and apparently this has to do with graphics effects. For me, no matter how well they cut these rings out, I can always see them, where other people can't, so don't quite take that as a, oh, what's wrong with the skin kind of thing. It's like it's a weird issue I seem to have. Anyways, moving on, we've got ourselves the Chromage MP5. As you see, it's got a light white body, and then it has all of this, what it almost looks like mercury leaking out of it with the chrome design. Aiming down the sides, you can see it is also slightly cut, and you've got a nice red tip. Moving on, we've got a continuation with the cute set, and we've jumped from a deployable to guns, and I think it translated pretty well. It comes in the classic orange and then the alternate green I'm showing you right here. Aiming down the sides, you do have some cut sights, and they cut the top of it off, and I think that actually looks quite cool. I think it's a neat look. How do you guys feel about that version of the cut sight? Then as we move on, we've got a continuation with the mini copter set, and this week it is the SAR, and I think that's translated really nicely. Looks quite well and very rusty. Aiming down the sights, there's the little fuel gauge, and you can see it also has a custom sight as well. Then if we move on, we've got another SAR. It is the Gustav SAR. Very shiny and bright. It kind of almost glistens in the sun. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a red versus the kind of gold brass backside. Then we've got ourselves the Starry Dream SAR to finish up for our SARs this week. You can see it's stockless. It has all sorts of little sparkly stars, a nice, beautifully drawn moon, and clouds. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a gray tip that turns about, 3/4 of the way down to black. So you kind of got the half-half sight going on there. And that's our reload. Moving on to our ARs for this week, we've got the Mind Reader AR. Nice little continuation in this spooky set. It's got all sorts of cool carvings and that crazy golden eye staring right at you. Aiming down the sights, you have kind of a faded, you can see the paint kind of scraping off red tips. And there's our reload. Moving on, we've got ourselves the Cybercore AK-47-2, and it has some cut sights. No stock, as you can see. Aiming down, there is the crazy sights, and yeah, man, people love that kind of thing. Will this make it in? I don't know, but it's definitely a good version too. Our next AR is going to be the Neon Guardian, and as you can see, it's got this kind of cool effect when you're aiming, when you're not aiming straight ahead and it's just sitting in your hand, and it looks like a really cool kind of 3D effect. When it turns on the side, it just, that's how it works. But I do wish there was something a little bit more on that one on side, but if you look carefully, you can see there's kind of a little smiley face there, which is cute. Aiming down the sides, you do have a purple tip against the gun, silver there. Then next up, we've got ourselves the Dragon Shell AK-47, and this has a really cool design to it. Just kind of has like that pearl scale going on, and then the other parts almost look like old, kind of like alien metal. They don't quite look like something that is just normal. Maybe it's magical. Aiming down the sides here, you can see it's kind of got the same kind of color grade going on, and there's that reload. Last but not least, we do have an M249 for you this week, and it's part of the Shadow set. It has that nice kind of clean carbon fiber, black and red design. Very clean. Aiming down the sides, you have white and red. Very faint little red tip there. And a front black ring. So you kind of got white, red, and black for the combo right there. And as you can see, they also colored up the bullets to be black and red to match the design. But that's going to do it, everybody, this week. I hope you enjoyed checking them all out with me. And leave me some comments, any kind of feedback you have. Always get that to whoever it needs to be if it isn't for me. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay rusty.